What if the Nazis weren't just obsessed with world domination, but also with something much darker, something that transcended earthly power? Imagine a world where ancient artifacts, lost civilizations, and mystical objects hold the key to ultimate control. The Nazis, driven by an insatiable thirst for power, believed these ancient relics could unlock divine forces, granting them unimaginable strength and supernatural supremacy. Their quest wasn't merely about territorial conquest. It was about unearthing secrets hidden in the very fabric of history itself, secrets that could elevate them to godlike status. Many of us know the Nazis for their horrific actions during World War II, but behind the brutality lay a strange, almost supernatural obsession with objects that were said to hold immense power. These weren't just any treasures. They were relics of legend, believed to grant divine favor, eternal life, and untold strength. From the Holy Grail to the Spear of Destiny, these artifacts weren't just symbols. They were seen as tools for godlike power, the kinds of items that could tip the balance of war and change the course of history. But why? Why did the Nazis, a regime built on violence and oppression, turn their attention to ancient, mystical objects? Was it purely a matter of religious fanaticism, or was there something more? The idea that a piece of ancient mythology could offer them victory or even immortality was one that drove high-ranking Nazis to explore distant corners of the globe. They scoured Europe, Africa, and South America in search of these relics, convinced that controlling them would allow them to harness forces beyond human comprehension. Did they believe these relics could truly grant them divine powers, or were they simply psychological weapons designed to fuel the myth of their own superiority? The truth may be stranger than we think, and the mystery behind these quests is one that still lingers in the shadows of history. Welcome to Celestial Chronicles, where we dive into these hidden chapters of the past. Keep watching as we uncover more about the bizarre and terrifying obsession of the Nazis with ancient secrets that went far beyond their infamous political ambitions. Let's unravel the story together. Stay tuned for the next chapter. The Holy Grail, the Cup of Eternal Power. The Holy Grail is one of the most famous and mysterious objects in history. According to legend, it was the cup used by Jesus Christ during the Last Supper. But the Grail isn't just any cup. It's said to possess incredible powers. Some believe that whoever finds the Grail will gain eternal life, while others claim it can bring untold power and strength. For the Nazis, the Grail wasn't just a religious symbol. It was the key to unlocking a divine right to rule the world. One of the key figures in the Nazi search for the Grail was Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, and a man obsessed with the occult. Himmler believed that the Grail was a symbol of divine power, and that finding it would give the Nazis an unstoppable advantage. To him, the Grail represented not only spiritual supremacy, but also a tool for global dominance. Himmler even founded an organization called the Ahnenerbe, which was dedicated to researching and finding ancient artifacts like the Grail, believing they could provide the Nazis with a divine connection. Their quest for the Grail led them across Europe, from Germany to France, and even to Spain, where they believed the cup might be hidden. Some reports suggest that the Nazis may have even found an object they believed to be the Holy Grail. But whether it truly was remains uncertain. What's clear is that the Nazis were willing to risk everything for this legendary artifact, convinced that its powers could change the outcome of the war. But the question remains, did the Nazis truly believe in the Grail's power, or was it just another part of their propaganda machine, meant to inspire their followers and intimidate their enemies? Were they really looking for a cup, or was there something deeper at play here? Something more mystical and terrifying? As we explore further, we begin to realize that their obsession with the Grail might not have been about faith, but about control. What do you think? Could the Holy Grail have truly been the key to Nazi victory, or was it simply another legend they wanted to control? Let me know in the comments. The Spear of Destiny, power in a blade. The Spear of Destiny, also known as the Holy Lance, is another artifact that fascinated the Nazis. According to legend, this spear was the one used by a Roman soldier to pierce the side of Jesus Christ during the crucifixion. The myth surrounding the spear claims that whoever possesses it will have control over their destiny and will be given unmatched power. For the Nazis, this was not just a religious relic, it was the key to their victory. The spear was believed to hold mystical powers, making its possession essential for anyone who sought ultimate control. Hitler and his inner circle became obsessed with finding it. They thought that whoever held the spear would have divine protection and invincibility, which could help them win the war and dominate Europe. The spear had a long history, and at one point it was kept in Vienna. When Nazi forces captured Austria in 1938, they believed they had acquired the artifact. For the Nazis, the spear symbolized much more than just military strength. It represented a divine right to rule, a supernatural weapon that could tip the scales in their favor. After taking possession of the spear, Hitler believed it would give his army an almost invincible advantage, making them unbeatable in battle. But did the spear really hold such power, or was it just another myth? Some historians argue that the Nazis were simply using the legend of the spear as a way to inspire their followers and strengthen their propaganda. Whether the spear had actual mystical powers remains a mystery. What's clear is that the Nazis' obsession with it was a reflection of their deep belief in the supernatural and their desire to control forces far beyond human understanding. Do you think the Spear of Destiny had real power, or was it all part of Nazi superstition? Could this obsession with relics like the spear be what truly drove their downfall? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The Ark of the Covenant, Unleashing Divine Fury. The Ark of the Covenant is one of the most famous religious artifacts in history. According to the Bible, it was a sacred chest that held the Ten Commandments, the laws given to Moses by God. The Ark was believed to carry the very presence of God and was said to have incredible, almost supernatural powers. Whoever controlled the Ark could wield divine strength, and the Nazis, with their obsession for ultimate power, were convinced that finding it would give them an unstoppable advantage. The Nazis believed that the Ark was more than just a religious symbol. It was a weapon, a source of unimaginable power. They thought that possessing the Ark would allow them to conquer their enemies and secure their rule over Europe. This idea was tied to the belief that the Ark could unleash divine fury against anyone who opposed its rightful owners. The search for the Ark took the Nazis to places like Ethiopia and Egypt, where they believed the Ark might be hidden, following clues from ancient texts and religious stories. In particular, the Nazis were interested in the belief that the Ark was hidden in Ethiopia, where some legends said it had been kept by a line of Ethiopian kings who claimed to be descendants of King Solomon. The Nazis sent expeditions to investigate, hoping to find the Ark and use it to cement their power. They even sent archaeologists to explore ancient sites, convinced that the Ark would give them the divine favor they needed to win the war. But did they ever find the Ark? Most historians believe the Nazis never uncovered it. Still, their obsession with the Ark shows just how deeply they believed that ancient artifacts could hold the key to their victory. The idea that an ancient chest could hold such divine power was central to their belief in their right to rule. Whether or not the Ark had real mystical powers is still debated, but the Nazis' search for it tells us much about their twisted vision of power. Do you think the Ark of the Covenant could have been more than just a religious symbol? Could it have given the Nazis real power, or was it all just superstition? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Nazis and the occult, ancient witches and mystical powers. The Nazis' obsession with ancient relics wasn't limited to religious artifacts. They also had a strong fascination with the occult, the study and practice of mysterious supernatural forces. This interest went far beyond what most people think of as just superstitions or dark magic. For many high-ranking Nazi officers, including Heinrich Himmler, the occult was a serious belief system, one that could help shape the future of their regime. Himmler, who was deeply interested in ancient Germanic traditions and pagan beliefs, was convinced that the Nazis could harness the power of the occult to bring about their vision of world domination. He believed that ancient knowledge, especially that linked to witchcraft and mysticism, held the key to unleashing powers that could make the Third Reich unstoppable. Himmler even formed a special group called the Ahnenerbe, dedicated to exploring the occult, researching ancient religious practices, and seeking out forgotten knowledge from the past. The Ahnenerbe sent expeditions to distant parts of Europe and beyond, investigating ancient ruins and gathering occult artifacts. One of their main goals was to uncover the hidden history of the Aryan race, which they believed was connected to ancient civilizations and magical powers. They were particularly interested in the idea that witches and shamans of the past had access to supernatural abilities. These people were thought to have communicated with gods and spirits, drawing upon hidden wisdom to achieve extraordinary feats. Some reports suggest that the Nazis were even searching for ritual sites and ancient shrines, hoping to find places where they could perform occult rituals and tap into these mystical powers. They were convinced that the right mix of ancient knowledge and rituals could give a kind of supernatural protection and control over their enemies. This belief in the occult was also tied to the idea that the Nazis were the rightful inheritors of divine power, and their connection to ancient witchcraft was just another piece of their twisted view of history. But did the Nazis truly believe they could control such forces? Or was it simply a way to manipulate the masses, using the mystical appeal to strengthen their grip on power? Their deep belief in the occult shows just how dangerous their worldview was and how they used superstition to fuel their ambitions. What do you think? Were the Nazis truly trying to control mystical forces, or was it all just a dangerous form of propaganda? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tiwanaku, the ancient city of mystical origins. While the Nazis focused much of their energy on finding religious artifacts and tapping into occult powers, their fascination with ancient civilizations also led them to far-off places like Tiwanaku, an ancient site in modern-day Bolivia. Tiwanaku is a mysterious place with massive stone structures and monolithic statues that still baffle archaeologists today. Some of the stones at Tiwanaku are so large and precisely cut that it seems impossible for the tools of ancient people to have created them. For the Nazis, Tiwanaku represented more than just a forgotten civilization. It was a potential link to lost knowledge and superior ancient technology. The Nazis believed that ancient cultures, particularly those of the Aryan race, had once been part of a far more advanced civilization than anything the modern world knew. To them, Tiwanaku could have been a place where this advanced knowledge had been stored. It was said that the people who lived there had a deeper understanding of the cosmos, and perhaps even access to technologies that could help the Nazis in their quest for world domination. The Nazis sent expeditions to South America, hoping to uncover clues about these lost civilizations. They believed that Tiwanaku could be the remains of an ancient culture that had understood the forces of nature, energy, and power, knowledge they thought could give them an edge in the war. Some Nazi officers were even convinced that the ruins of Tiwanaku were connected to ancient alien visitors who had shared their knowledge with early humans. The idea was that this alien technology could help the Nazis achieve superiority. But did the Nazis truly find what they were looking for at Tiwanaku? Many historians believe the search was based on wild speculation and a desire to connect their ideas of racial superiority with ancient myth. While Tiwanaku is an incredible archaeological site, there is no evidence that it ever had any kind of otherworldly influence. Yet the Nazis' obsession with it shows how deeply they were invested in the idea that the past held the keys to controlling the future. Was Tiwanaku just another myth that the Nazis latched onto? Or did they uncover something much deeper? What do you think? Could Tiwanaku have held ancient knowledge that the Nazis believed was lost to history? Or was it just another dangerous fantasy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.